I'm Muriel Davis, the presenter. The article that I will be discussing today is psychologist Carl Rogers. The author of the article is Dr. Vincent Berger, and the publication is Psychologist Anywhere, Anytime, 2005. The early life of Carl Rogers, which he was born in January of 1902, and he lived a rich life. His demise was in February of 1987. During his early life and even his rearing, he was brought up in a Christian home where they had strict religious environments. During his adolescent time of life, they moved to a farm that was near Chicago. And later on, he entered college at the University of Wisconsin in 1919. And after graduation from college, he married Helen Elliott. They moved to New York, and while they resided in New York, he attended the Union Theological Seminary. And later on, he transferred to the Columbia University. This is where he obtained his PhD in 1931. Carl Rogers wrote several publications. One of his first publications was Counseling and Psychotherapy. When he was an instructor at the University of Chicago, he published his second publication, which is entitled Client-Centered Therapy. And this is where he outlines his basic theory along with many other accomplishments. Rogers' theory is clinical, and it relates to his years of experience with his clients. He believed that individuals exist in a community-changing world of experiences where they are the center. The perceptive field is called reality for the individual. The individual, or sometimes referred to as the organism, reacts as a whole to the phenomenal field, which is part of the perceptual field or experience, and gradually becomes differentiated as the self. The concept of self is found as a result of interactions with the environment and evaluational interaction with others, therefore developing perceptions of characteristics and relationships of the concept of I or me, along with values. The basic tendency and striving of the organism or individual is to actualize, maintain, and enhance the experiencing organism or person. Behavior is best understood from the internal frame of reference of the individual and is perceived as the goal-directed attempt of the individual to satisfy its needs as he or she experiences reality. There are a number of terms that are associated with Carl Rogers' theory, one being emotion, values, experiences, reflection, and then, of course, reflection, it has to be genuine. This is a technique that Rogerian therapists are particularly known for using. Mirroring of emotional communications. An example of this is if the client says, "I feel horrible," the therapist can respond with, "So life's getting you down?" This communication with the client will let the client know that he or she is listening and that the therapist understands. Sometimes people say things that they really don't mean. There are 3 major requirements of a therapist: congruence, which is genuineness, honesty with the client; empathy, the ability to feel what the client feels; and then there's, of course, respect. Respect is the acceptance, unconditional position, regard towards the client. Using these three qualities are necessary and they are sufficient. If these qualities are used, then it is said that the client will improve. Roger describes principles versus stages. The main concern is the development of self-concept as well as progress from an undifferentiated self to being fully differentiated. Then there's self-concept. This is the organized, consistent gestalt composed of perceptions of the characteristics, again, of I or me. Optimal development. This is described as the good life, where the organism or the individual aims to fulfill their full potential. And when we think of fulfilling that full potential, this person experiences growing openness, and this client can move away from defensiveness and have no need for subception. He or she can experience an increasingly existential lifestyle. Then there's increasing organismic trust. Individuals trust their own judgment and their ability to choose behavior that is appropriate for each moment, not relying on existing codes and social norms, but they are open to experiences. Then there's freedom of choice. These individuals are not shackled by the restrictions that influence an important individual, but are able to make a wider range of choices more freely. There's creativity. It follows that they will feel more free to be creative in the way that they adapt to their own circumstances without feeling a need to conform. Then there's reliability and constructiveness. Individual in this case can be trusted to act constructively. One who is open to all of his or her needs will be able to maintain a balance between them. A rich, full life. Roger describes the life of the fully functional individual as rich, full, and exciting. He suggests that they experience joy and pain, love and heartbreak, fear and courage more intensely, or we can conclude with the good life. Thank you.